I might have been too extreme on the not going to college. I think college is important. I think being someone that can hold a very intellectual conversation with someone that can articulate with good language and have a good background in history, art, like I think that's important, but it doesn't pay the bills. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna get right into it. Today's guest is Dr. Jose Reyes, chiropractor, past client of mine. But I want to get right into it because you are a doctor of chiropractic doctor, and but I also know that you have entrepreneurial like tendencies, like you want to have these side hustles, and how does someone like you who is making six figures as a doctor want to get into side hustles? Can you talk about that?
I make about $1 million per year between two practices, one that is mine and one is that I work for someone else in Shafter. But at the same time, when I was studying the marketing techniques and the secrets to become a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
But there's actually there's no secret that is going to work for you if you don't try it. And that's why I tell people, during my seminars that I also do, don't believe what I say, just try it for yourself. And whatever doesn't work, throw it out. When I started, educating myself on finances and, businesses, I wanted to learn it so I can obviously make more money. I started making like $19,000 a month. For some, it's not bad, right? For a doctor, it's not good. 19,000 is not good because my overhead or my expenses are $30,000 a month. So I need to make more than $30,000
exactly.
at least,
so
right?
You have to net a certain amount.
Exactly. So that's why, although my practice makes about $1 million a year, but I also, of course I wanted a better life. I wanted a lifestyle where, I can be financially free, and not only that, but put my kids to college. Which, by the way, that's a topic that we want to discuss because
I want to ask you about that.
So I have 2 girls in medical school right now, and 1 that is in college. So that was my dream.
That's awesome.
I'm a proud dad that now they're following my footsteps. Maybe not the same medicine branch that I'm doing, but at least I know they're going to be doctors too.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know what? I was a pre-med student too. That was my aspiration growing up, be a doctor. But I think, growing up, I aspired to be a doctor, not so much because that was my passion. I think that was just like a very, very honorable thing to do. Right? Like a good thing to do. And being the son of immigrant parents, they pushed me to go to school, get good grades, which I did. But then I get to college and it just like kind of all stopped, It's like, okay, this is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Medical school, pre-med is very difficult, and it was very competitive, small private school, but super competitive. And I just didn't have the study habits that I should have had. And I always think like, if I go back now, would I be able to do it? And I probably could, but do I want to, right? The amount of time. And so, that's one of the things that over time I've been kind of asking, myself and people is, when you go to school to become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer, whatever it is that, takes a certain amount of schooling to do, is it worth it knowing that you could have maybe started your career a lot sooner, right? And that's kind of the conversation you were having the other day with my daughter on the line, and generally the response I get from especially my doctor friends is it's totally worth it. Like, you go through all that school, but your income is very secure. You have, there's always going to be a need for doctors, right? But then I ask them like, well, but what if you had learned or picked up an entrepreneurial skill that led to the same amount of income, but in half the time or less?
Exactly.
And so they can't wrap their mind around that, right? They just, they just kind of, what are your thoughts on that?
I think differently. And, and that's one of the things that got to me where I'm at, because I think outside the box. I never go with the crowd. I never go with the flow, right?
Sure.
And that's what differentiates between me and the rest of chiropractors around here because I'm different.
Yeah.
You know everything that I do.
You are. Your handshake is everywhere. Your picture.
I've written books. I have scholarship foundations. I give to the community. And anyways, so going back to the question, so no, I think knowing what I know now, I think I wouldn't go back to school and get a degree, because I think when it comes to finances and money, I think I could have made more money without a degree, right? Knowing what I know now. However,
you mean they don't teach you finances in medical school?
They don't. It's really like minimal, but they just teach you how to manage your business, but that's it. But the other side of the token is this. In my case, my degree helped me become successful. So I use that degree, that vehicle, to get me to where I'm at. Sure. So in my case, yes.
It's giving you opportunities that you wouldn't have had otherwise.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But if I would go back, I would have not gone to school for 20-something years.
So let me ask you that because I've known you for a while. We've never really had this conversation. If you were to go back, you wouldn't be the same person, first of all, because everyone knows you as Dr. Reyes, the chiropractor. But if you did go back, what do you think you would be, interested in doing as a 100% entrepreneur,
Finances, real estate, social media, which I'm actually doing. Yeah. But that's what I would have done, if I did not go to school.
You know what's crazy? It's so funny how times change. When my kids were, I have 4 teenagers now, 2 college students, 1 in high school, 1 in middle school. But when they were little, they would shoot videos of themselves and put it on YouTube. And they would say things like, I'm going to be a YouTuber when I grow up. And I used to mock them. I used to say, no, you're going to go to college. You're going to go and get a degree. Right. I wanted them to follow, ironically, in the footsteps of their dad, but who didn't, get that professional degree to become a doctor or whatever. And now I kind of regret it. I'm like, I wish I had pushed them. You look at people like Mr. Beast and
that's exactly what I was thinking about.
Oh my gosh, they make so much money. Right. They're doing so well and they're giving too. And so, I have a totally different mindset now. Obviously I am, pushing my own content and trying to interview and talk to people. Because I think this is the stuff that they don't teach you in high school, college.
They don't.
And
unfortunately.
Yeah. And it's the world we live in now. Social media is huge. YouTube is, a big deal. And
correct.
So that's why we're here talking now.
Yeah. As you were talking, I was thinking about my daughters too. I have 3 girls and they all want to be doctors, which it's okay with me. However, I tell them, listen, your degree is going to take you places, but if you don't know how to manage your money, how to invest your money wisely, you're going to be bored. You're going to be stressed out because most doctors are stressed out because they're poor. They don't know how to invest their money.
They make more and they spend more.
Yeah. And they work long hours. I mean, in my case, I use what I learned and now I only work whatever hours I want to work. Yeah. I work smarter and I make more money. Sure. When I was working, 40 hours, a week. So, I tell them, listen, use that vehicle and I'll help you, create your own business, work for yourself or have somebody else work for you. That's the smartest way instead of, 8 to 5 job and, being stressed out and not making enough.
Yeah. You learn to leverage your time.
Exactly. So I think they get the idea. But they decided, to go and follow my footsteps in regards to getting a college degree. But with the idea that, they're going to be their own, business owners.
They just wanted to go to college. They wanted to have the experience. Exactly. And, now my oldest 2 actually, they work with me now. They, one of them is working on getting their real estate license. The other one is actually in the other room making phone calls as we speak. But, nice. They've learned right away. And I might have been too extreme on the not going to college, aspect. I think college is important. I think being someone that can hold a very intellectual conversation with someone that can articulate with good language and have a good background in history, art, I think that's important.
Yeah,
but it doesn't pay the bills.
that is true.
And it's, you can do it on your own too. And you can read, you can go to a junior college like my daughter is now. And then transfer and save that money, not take out loans. Cause that was a big thing. Taking out loans was like that was a non-negotiable. If I'm going to support you, I'm going to support you, but not to take out loans. Right. So that was a big thing. And then just teaching them the entrepreneurship of real estate in my case, right. Doing flips and investing in, commercial buildings like this one. And, but yeah, it's just, handing that wisdom that I didn't receive when I was younger. And
you said it right. You said it absolutely right. You have to
and I'm still learning.
Yeah, definitely every day. You have to leave your legend, behind to your family, to your kids. One thing is that I was thinking, there's people that we know that didn't have to have a college degree, the Facebook guy, Elon Musk.
They dropped out, or
look at these guys. The Amazon guy, what's his name?
Jeff Bezos. Yeah.
All these guys didn't have a college degree, and look where they are now.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And they're obviously extraordinary people, and they've done some amazing things. And so I think I'm kind of in the middle. I want young people to be educated. I want them to get to know, also be not just educated in the academic sense, but go travel, learn cultures, learn another language, read books. But we've already talked about, no one teaches you the finances, man.
Right. And
that's the hardest one.
And I think that you have to do it by yourself, because school is not going to teach you that.
Yeah.
Even if you go to college, where you think they might teach you finances, right, economics and all that, they do, but it's just the basic level, right? Yeah. They don't teach you that, the real life experiences. One thing that I wanted to pause and mention to you, since we're talking about, kids and going to school, that I have a scholarship foundation, which you actually sponsor 1 year.
Yeah, I did.
And what I do is I open up the scholarship foundation so I can give $1,000 to a male and female high school student who are pursuing a college degree. Mm-hmm. So, we pick one every year, one and one, male and female. So your audience, if they have high school kids, we have a deadline, which is May 26.
Okay.
And then we give out the scholarships on June the 8th.
Okay. So I'll make sure to provide a link or something.
Please do.
Yeah, in the description. So that way people can donate if you know.
Yeah.
Or if they have kids,
they can
for sure.
Apply.
Sometimes my daughter apply.
Yeah. You know what? And it's really interesting when it comes to that, because I remember when I was in college, I applied for this $5,000 scholarship, and no one applied, just me. And guess who got it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I got it. And then another time, I remember I was going against this really smart kids in school.
Yeah.
I was actually at chiropractic college already. And it was I think it was a 5,000 scholarship too. And I said, man, I'm not going to have a chance, but I'm going to apply it anyways.
Yeah.
And they picked me.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
So it's worth applying.
That's good. So where did you grow up, and where did you get that desire to become a doctor, and how did you end up going from, saving lives to, you specialize in, being a chiropractor?
Yeah. So I was born in El Salvador, Central America, but I was raised there until I was 13.
Yeah.
And then I decided to come to the United States.
So you lived a good amount in El Salvador.
Yeah. 13 years. Although, I spent most of my life here. However, that's where my first, I guess, exposure to being a doctor started, when I was telling you earlier in the hospital where my mom used to work.
My mother-in-law's from El Salvador, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She saw some crazy things, man.
Yes.
You probably did too. That's probably another conversation, but
that was back in the days. Now it's good. It's safe.
Yeah, way better.
But yeah, so that's where it all started. And then I came to the US in 1984. And I remember my dad telling me, because he told all his kids this, he said, do you want to go to work? Do you want to work, or do you want to go to school? I said, I want to go to school because I want to be a doctor. So I always knew I wanted to be a doctor, right? I didn't know which type. So when I came here, that's what I did. He said, okay, you're not going to work, just go to school. So that's what I did. And I subspecialized after that in sports medicine. So that opened up a lot of, different doors for me too. So there's not a lot of money actually in sports medicine,
Yeah.
but it's more about the, what do you call it? The reputation that you have.
Sure.
You know, I was the team doctor for Chivas, you know, from Mexico,
for the
the
soccer
professional
team.
soccer team. I was part of the Galaxy as well. I was not the main doctor. I was just there helping.
Sure.
And then I am currently the one of the doctors for the Team USA, which provides, you know, quality care for the Olympic athletes.
It's awesome.
So I go there like almost every year or 2 years for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, we treat them. So it has opened a lot of doors for me. And like I said, you know, although there is not money there involved, you know, not a lot of money, but it brings you clients. It
Sure.
brings you, you know, patients.
And you get to meet some cool people.
Definitely. I remember in Mexico, you know, even if you are the massage therapist or whatever, if you're related, associated with that team, people come up to you and they ask you for autographs and pictures, you know, anything that has to do with Chivas or America, which are the most popular teams in Mexico. Man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
They treat you like Hollywood stars there.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Tell me about your struggle. Did you struggle being, you know, someone who was born in Central America? Spanish was your first language. What was that like coming to the United States and going to school? Did you struggle, or did you
That's
feel
a good
like?
question. No, I think I have been blessed since I was born, because God has made it easy for me, to be honest. That's why I feel blessed. And that's why I have the need to, you know, give back to my community. I was so focused on becoming what I wanted to become that it wasn't as difficult for me. You know, it wasn't as difficult for me to be where I'm at, in the sense that, I mean, I didn't have to struggle a lot because I had the support, you know, from my family. And of course I had the willingness to do it, you know, because I didn't want to look back. I just want to, you know, look forward, right? And become whatever I wanted to become. So I thank God for that, because I think, you know, my dreams have been accomplished. And one thing I want to pause also is, you remember the house we had, that it was, you know, that house.
So I sold, just for a little context. So I sold, this was like after like 3 years of follow up.
Yes.
I was like, Dr. Reyes, have you sold that house yet? And then you called me, or you texted me one day. He's like, hey, we're ready to go with you. And man, that was a long escrow, but we sold it. And it was just like, you know, it was a long.
That's one of the things that I was going to emphasize, because that was my dream, to live in a house that was big enough for everyone. You know,
a mansion. It was
a mansion with 7 bathrooms and 7 bedrooms.
Yeah.
And we lived there for 12 years.
And then you had what, 5 acres?
5 acres. Soccer field next to it. And then you sold it for us.
Neighbors with the cars.
Yes.
Down the street.
So I had a picture of that house. In the 80s, there was a picture of a like sports cars and a house right next to it. And I had that poster in my, I remember my college dorm, the house that I used to live. And I forgot about it. And then years later, come to Bakersfield, you know, and we built a house, and I was looking at the old picture that I had compared to that with my sports cars. I'm like, wait a minute. So it's interesting, you know, what you, what's the word that I'm looking for? When you have goals and you sometimes, you know, subconsciously you put it in your head and you repeat it to yourself.
You envision them.
And you envision them, and they become reality.
Yeah.
You know, we sold the house, but, you know, I had it. So those are the kind of things that I have always, you know, teach people, you know.
Yeah.
You got to write things and repeat it every day so they can become a reality.
Sure.
Yeah.
Quick question, because this is a question that I think a lot of people ask if they're thinking about going into chiropractic, you know, the chiropractic field.
Yeah.
Is, what does a typical chiropractor make? You know, what does it depend on? Like what, you know, or does it depend on, you know, where you're practicing too?
It all depends on you. If you have your own practice, the sky is the limit. If you work for someone else, average chiropractor, I would say between 100, 180, somewhere around that range. Okay. But when you have your own practice, you put your own hours, you set your own rates. It, like I said, you know, earlier, you know, my private practice and the other practice that I work with, it's almost $1 million. So
I mean, that's the definition of an entrepreneur, right? Someone
exactly.
who's owning their own business. They run it how they want.
Yes.
Marketing, because I know you do marketing, or you've done a lot of marketing. I talked to a doctor friend of mine. We actually went to school together. She actually ended up going to medical school. Struggled a little bit with the grades, but eventually she got in. Now she's a doctor. She lives in Camarillo. Her husband does YouTube and lawns. It's pretty cool. But she told me, she said, I had no desire to do business and entrepreneurship. She's like, I just want to get my check and go home, kind of thing, you know?
Wow.
But she tells me, like, the directors, the owners of the hospitals, like, she's like, they make really good money and they don't know anything about medicine.
Exactly.
You know, and that just got me thinking, like, well, yeah, they're the entrepreneurs, they're the business people. They're the ones taking the risk with the investors' money or whatever, you know?
Right. I mean, you got to be smart with your money, you know, and that's why I have a seminar that is called Make More Money Working Less, you know, and I teach people how to, with their finances and how to market themselves and how to, present yourself in front of people. Like right now I'm dressed, because we're communicating.
Sure.
So college have to do a lot with that. So
sure.
It's really interesting about the psychology of college.
By the way, I'm like, should I dress up? And they're like, nah, you shouldn't. Just be casual.
Like little details here and there that can help you, succeed financially.
Sure.
They all help. But it's really, I love this kind of interviews podcast because, I get to teach people and I get to share my knowledge that I learned, like I said earlier, if something, doesn't work, throw it out, but use the things that work for you.
Yeah.
So
I think you answered the question kind of for yourself, but if someone is thinking about going to school for medical school to be a chiropractor, what's your advice to them? Like, what do you have them? Because something that I noticed too, there's no personality test. There's no like matching people, especially like undergrad. I know that once you're in medical school, they kind of like match you with, certain specialties, or if you go into specialty, which is one of my doctor friends. That's one of the things she regrets, is not having done a specialty.
Right. So first of all, a lot of people ask, how many years does it take to become a chiropractic doctor? It's the same years, to become a medical doctor, sometimes even more. So it's 4 years of college after high school, 4 years of chiropractic school or medical school, whatever it is, or dental school. And then you self-specialize, or, you do a residency or training in whatever you want to specialize. Let's say radiology or, neurology. In my case, it was sports medicine. So it was a total of 10 years. In my case. Yeah. But I think college is not for everyone, but once you go to a community college, like you were saying earlier, you'll find out exactly what you want. Sure. I mean, if that's what you really want, you'll find out within the first 2 years of college.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. You mentioned you've kind of reached some of your goals. What's one goal that you haven't reached, or are you adding something else to that goal list? Because I know you're not done yet.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Knowing you're not done.
Yeah, real estate. I want to get involved and get, invest in real estate. So,
well, look, you've got to
exactly. I know, and things happen for a reason. We've known each other for so many years, and I see how you grown, and I'm like, I want to be like Pablo when it comes to real estate.
I want to be like Dr. Reyes and be a doctor. That's crazy.
So, that's something we need to discuss because
let our powers combine.
Yes, definitely. Because I need to continue to invest in real estate. I'm already investing in real estate, but I want to do more.
Sure.
Like I'm trying to get a property in El Salvador on the beach. Yeah.
I have a friend that just bought land.
Yes.
It's already going up in value.
Especially now. And, I want to buy properties in Miami, New York, of course, Bakersfield, more properties here. So I think real estate and getting more into the social media aspect, which I already started.
That's good. That's awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming. I know that your time is valuable and you're a busy man. So I appreciate you coming and providing wisdom and answers to some of these questions. So
appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Dr. Reyes.